Good morning, beloveds. Good morning, beloveds. You are hereby invited to a theme party this morning. Where? Right here. When? Right now. And the theme is prosperity. Woohoo! Yeah, prosperity. You may be asking yourself, what does one wear to a prosperity party? Diana says, anything you want. Well, people wear certain, there's a concept of clothing and jewelry, and there's the shoes for some of the ladies and some of the guys. And ladies think, well, should I get my hair cut and colored? Something new, get the latest. And guys think the same thing. Many of us, at least get last winter's fur cut off. Maybe that's prosperity, and they're very important. They're important considerations. But maybe, just maybe, the answer to what will I wear to a prosperity party is that which is not seen out here on the outside. Maybe, just maybe, the best thing to wear is an attitude. Now, not the air of, look at me, I am more than someone else. That's not the attitude I was referring to. Although I've done that. Not recently, but in my past, I've done that. I thought it was all the outer look, the outer garment. And it's important. It's important to come to a nice place, and something about one's self-esteem says, I've bathed in the last month. I have put on some clean clothes. It does something when the water runs over my body. It says, it's fresh, it's new. I feel really good about myself. That's the attitude, that I feel good about myself. So not the attitude or the air of, look at me, I am more than someone else. Not prosperity by comparison either. Because some of us do that. Some of us think, well, I'm not as good as because I don't have this or go there or do that or look like this. Or that's comparison. It's a trap. Don't do it again. Or if you do it, catch yourself sooner. One of knowing the truth of one's spiritual nature is prosperity. And here's a statement that I've worked out for today. I'm an expression of the Divine One, and as such, I am imbued with the potential to accept the good of God's bounty. One that knows that the spiritual nature labeled prosperity is already equipped to deliver that which you and I can accept. That's prosperity to me. Now, the science of mind, our church teaching, teaches us universal truth principles, and is designed to help facilitate the unfoldment of you and I, our individual soul, as already magnificent beings. We come in this way. Who can look at a newborn baby and say, not so magnificent? Or anything to puppy, I don't care what it is. Anything fresh and new, perfect bloom, flower. It's magnificent. And then what happens? We as people move into the world, begin to believe what the world tells us, that we're not so magnificent after all. I grew up hearing, you're a worm of the dust. Whatever that is. A worm of the dust. Dust. That's lowly. That's just You don't live in dust if you're a worm. So that's kind of what I grew up with. And I didn't really believe it, but I heard it. And so, as magnificent beings, this includes prosperity of all kinds. Of all kinds. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, defines prosperity thusly. Prosperity is the outpicturing of substance, which is what we have in our experience. It's the outpicturing of substance in our affairs. Everything in the universe is for us. Nothing is against us. We must know that everywhere we go, we meet friendship, love, human interest, and helpfulness. Life is ever giving of itself. We must realize that we receive and utilize and extend the gift. Success and prosperity are spiritual attributes belonging to all people. Now hear this, but not necessarily used by all people. Success and prosperity are spiritual attributes belonging to all people, but not necessarily used by all people. Some of us just don't know how to use it, and that's why we're here. That's what we teach. Principles of how to use the gifts we have. So let's continue this part this morning by elaborating Dr. Holmes' definition of prosperity. And I've broken it down into 5 statements, and then we'll talk about some of those principles behind them. So the first one, prosperity is the outpicturing of substance in our affairs. What does that mean? Well, this teaching says that the life we have is the one we have created. The life we have is the one we have created. And boy, oh boy, this idea was a hard pill to swallow for me. I didn't like it very much, because I didn't think that what my life was looking like was my fault. Anybody else ever? Oh yeah. Not my fault. Not my fault. And at first I resisted that notion. Just like, not my fault. Because they were the not so lovely showing up in life. Like my finances, you know, relationship issues at my job, and they were pretty dramatic. They were pretty dramatic. Like the thunder, it's pretty dramatic. Thank you for the effects. Well, you know, because I was focusing on all of that, saying no, 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 I was putting energy into the no, no, no. And the drama increased. The drama increased. And each time my resistance increased, it was like feeding a fire with gasoline. It kept burning. It kept burning. It was so hot. It was a hot button, as we call it in life. Well, this science of mind reinforces the life principle called self-responsibility. And so we are called to turn entirely away from the condition and remove the gasoline from the fire, which are our unwanted ideas in life, and focus on something we do want, something desired, and fuel that. Now, sounds easy. Just don't look at it. You have to deal with the problem, you got to deal with the problem. It takes as long as it takes. But what your focus needs to be then is something new, something greater. And the blaze may not go out right away, but it will diminish with time and awareness. And the awareness factor here is so important. And so the second, everything in the universe is for us. Nothing is against us. We don't have rats. And I know they're for us too. So everything in the universe is for us, nothing is against us. To me, that's when we're in the fire of condition. This statement sounds kind of airy-fairy, doesn't it? When we're having a hot button moment it's hard to say everything in the universe is for me. Nothing is against me. Everything is perfect. But we are reminded in that condition that there's something going on. And my reminder to me and to you is that it's temporary. It can be temporary. And it can be temporary to the point that it may take several years. It can be instantaneous. It can be whatever it takes for you, the individual, I, the individual, to move through the condition. But the call is to maintain the focus and your intention and your awareness as you go through it, that you're not still living back in that place of victim. Ernest Holmes says, the illusion is in the way we look at things. We have looked at poverty, degradation, and misery until they have assumed gigantic proportions. And we see it in the world. Now we must look at harmony, peace, plenty,